Yeah, we're going to continue this Anunnaki build, yeah? About the different types of Anunnaki. Let's call this part 2. I did part 1 earlier, but I had to rush off because it's like I got 3 people with birthdays today. My baby sister, my niece, Denya, and my cousin Rakaya. All 3 of them, it's their birthday today. So today's been a bit hectic. But yeah, I want to continue speaking about the Anunnaki. What I was speaking about before, I was speaking about the fact that you have different types of extraterrestrial beings that use the title Anunnaki. It means those who from heaven to earth came, or those who came from the skies. Some people translate it as those who Anu sent from heaven to earth. Anu being the most powerful one of them. In Sumeria, the high god was known as Anu, who reigned in the heavens. And then you had Enlil, Lord of the Command, who ended up ruling on earth. And you also had Enki, Lord of the Earth, Ki, because he was originally controlling earth. And then he got demoted and he got put in South Africa where he was dealing with the Abzu, or the gold mines, and the sea, where you get like certain Greek gods like Poseidon and stuff, is linked to Enki, okay? So we was talking about that. The fact that the word Anunnaki is not necessarily a species like we say Greys, yeah, or we say Andromedans or Syrians or Orions. Anunnaki contains elements from all of them different groups, what we've just spoken about. So under the title Anunnaki, you have Pleiadians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Rizkians, Syrians, Orions, all under that title, those who from heaven to earth came. So it's just like saying extraterrestrial. It doesn't really tell you much other than that. Like if I use it, it's like the title human. Human is not a word. If I say human, it doesn't describe my race. It doesn't describe my political beliefs. It doesn't describe my gender. It doesn't describe my religious beliefs if I have any. You understand? It's just a title. So the same goes for Anunnaki. Anunnaki can represent a good or benevolent being, extraterrestrial, or it can represent a malevolent extraterrestrial like seraphim and cherubim. So the word Anunnaki, you hear people saying, oh, the Anunnaki are reptilians. That's bullshit. All of the Anunnakis are not reptilians. That's like saying all humans are 23 different species in a galactic federation. Because just like we have wars between races and nations here on Earth, they was having wars between themselves. Whether you think it's in the cosmos, in this heliocentric model, or whether you're going by the Nosconfundan map, the flat Earth map that come out with the navigator who crossed the ice walls, if you ask me, it's the same thing. It's not really different. It's just how you're looking at it, because to me, the whole thing's a simulation. You understand? But anyway, you get various different extraterrestrial beings that come from different worlds, and they started having wars. Obviously you have red bloods and you have blue bloods. So if you're a red blood, like an Alpha Draconian from the Dracos, they are not dealing with no love and friendship and love and light and peace. They come in and put your ass in slavery and eat you if they can use you as a food source, because they eat anything that has their kind of spirit. So if you're an evil being, they can eat you as food. They can't eat just anybody. They can't eat people who are functioning off the God spirit, the love force. They have to make sure all of their food is coming from the same 6 Eva demonic energy, then they can eat you. That's why they corrupted this Earth project. We'll talk about that another time. The first and the second Adama projects, which was made famous by, I should have put this on silent, That was made famous by Zecharia Sitchin in his book, The 12th Planet. And he introduced people to concepts such as these Anunnaki or extraterrestrial beings come into Earth, and using human cloning and genetic manipulation, they're way ahead of us, way advanced than we are. And they created a being to do the work that they didn't want to do. They was down here mining gold in South Africa and having mutinies among themselves because the work was too hard. They don't come from Earth. So when they come into this climate affects them in a negative way. They don't get to live millions of years and shit like they do on their own world. You understand what I'm saying? When they come to Earth, our sun, which is a tiny dying sun, that's why it's yellow or red, because it's in its last stages of life. It's an old man. So this little sun here was affecting them negatively. It's written down that when they came to Earth to do this mining and stuff, it was so strenuous that they would return to the Nibiru And they would be older than their mum and dad. That's how much they had aged while they was on Earth. So they had a great big mutiny. Hold on. Because what the Anunnaki did, humans would do the same thing. They said, okay, we got to do mining. Now, none of the royal families or high noble families are going to do this mining. They said they sent all the low families in the Anunnaki to do the work. And it ended up being that, hold on, it's like us sending poor people to do all the hard work. And then the poor people get pissed off. Say, fuck this, we're not doing this no more. A mutiny happened now. Do you understand? So now they had a council. You can read about this council in Psalms 82, verse 1, when it says the mighty El stands in the congregation of the gods, plural. So there's one mighty, almighty, El Ilyuin, or El Iloah, or Yahuwah, whichever word you want to use, or Anu, or Ra. There's one Most High, just like we have one Prime Minister amongst all these politicians. Do you understand? It's the same way you got to look at this God stuff. When you're dealing with the Anunnaki, they have in the council, they decide about certain shit, especially when it's to do with stuff like the Planet Earth project and stuff. You understand? And they said, yo, let's make somebody else do the work. Enki suggested it, being the smart one. He says, yo, we can create a being, like a primitive slave, a Lulu, a Melu, right here that's already acclimatized to this bullshit world. And they can do all the work for us. And we can sit down as gods and let them worship us and shit like that. They came up with this idea. This is on Sumerian tablets. Yeah? And the Absu was in South Africa. So them first humans was from that South Africa, Zimbabwe, which was called Rafali, South Africa, and Monodapa, Zimbabwe. And you can listen to the work of those like Michael Tellinger and Credo Mutwa, and they'll show you the evidence for the fucking gold mines and even monuments left back from that time, like Adam's calendar, which is supposed to be the oldest monument in the world. And that's on the same parallel as the Giza pyramid. You can draw a straight line straight at the top from the Giza pyramids all the way down to South Africa to Adam's calendar. I think Nabta Player also runs on that line. All of this is significant. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, you have two types of natures when you're dealing with the Anunnaki. When you go into the holy tablets, it gives you from the start talking about when there was nothing. And then from this nothingness, because if you take everything away, the only thing you're going to be left with is blackness. And they tell you it's black matter or dark matter. Yeah? And they say, yo, this is what it is. It's dark matter. And from this dark matter came a green, crystal green, pure light. Like you're talking about emerald green, pure light like we see in the grass, nature, Mother Nature. This emerald green light became the light of the Most High, or the light of Anu. And the first beings who we want to, when we're saying, talking about angelic beings or Anunnakis, came from this green light. But first, this green light split in two. So the green light was supreme, beautiful green, supreme, pure light. And it split in two, and the other half of it became its reflection, like a polarity thing. It's the opposite. That became fire, or amber fire, the flame. Both of them are light. Do you understand? But one, from the green light, you get all the good beings, not just Anunnaki. Good humans, good animals, good plants, good fish, good everything. And then from this amber light, you get all the malevolent stuff. All the bad Anunnakis, all the demons, all the predatory animals, all the poisonous plants come from the other nature. Do you understand? So you got two natures. And right at the top, you got the Anunnaki, and these two natures are battling now. They start fighting each other for dominance on their own home world, yeah, where it ends up having to come to a truce, or else everything's just going to be destroyed. We need to find a balance. We need to find a reconciliation. So this is when they put kingship over themselves, and they had a seat to say, okay, this is the Anu, and the Most High one of us, the one who's the most knowledgeable, the most scientific, the most powerful, the most this, the most that. He's going to sit down and he's going to maintain order between these two factions, yeah? And then we're going to make a council, because now we've got different species being created all the time. You understand? You got Pleiadians, Arcturians, Greys, insectoids, all type of different beings. So now we're going to have a council. And on this council, we're going to have to decide about how we're going to do things in the universe, because the main thing we want to do is maintain order, is keep balance. They don't necessarily look at good and evil in the same way we do here on Earth. They're looking at maintaining the natural order and the natural balance of the universe. You understand? When the wars first started happening, the first wars were against the insectoids. So when they was warring against the insectoids, the humanoid Anunnakis used the bird beings to fight with them against these insectoids. These bird beings were created from the insectoids and grafted into the beings they were to be able to deal with these insect beings, and also to be able to deal with these lizards. That's why when you go to Sumeria, you'll see a lot of the Anunnaki have already mixed their blood with these bird beings, avian beings, and they vibrate up to the 8th density. So they some of the highest and oldest beings in this physical creation in our neck of the woods. So they was fighting. Some of them are good and some of them are bad, and you see it in the Catholic Church how they tell you the cardinals. Yeah, that's what these avians were called. They were called cardinals and bishops and stuff. They doing this shit off of birds and reptilians and stuff, because that's really what's going on outside here. So people didn't just draw these reliefs, these iconography on Babylonian temples and Egyptian temples, angels with wings and people with bird heads and shit, just because they thought it looked nice. These are real beings. You understand? That fight in this war that's going on in the cosmos, okay? So later on, when you're coming into, like, let's say 500 BC, when we're coming into them time with the rise of the Romans and the Greeks and stuff, now you start coming into monotheism, where certain groups of people are trying to use this information to control others, and so they start forming religions and cults and stuff, and compelling people to believe this way or to think this way or do this way. It wasn't just a free-for-all choice no more. Now we're coming into the age of institutions, when we're talking about classical Greece and we're talking about the Roman Empire and everything that came after that. You can even say it started with the Persians and Babylonians, when they first started running up into Egypt, you understand? But basically that's what it is. Anunnaki is not talking about a specific race, whether it's black people, white people, or none of that. If we want to talk about specific races of Anunnaki, then we can say, okay, the Riskians, they are the founder race. What was his name? Alex Collier, who used to talk a lot about reptilians because he had personal experiences with Project Serpo and stuff. He used to say that the reptilians got defeated before by a group of beings that they refer to as the Patal. The Patal is the same beings I'm referring to with woolly hair and black skin, 7 foot to 9 foot tall, and they're wearing the white gowns. You understand? You might see them flash up in a couple of my videos and stuff, but these are the same Patal, or beings, that defeated the reptilians and chucked them out of the high density, like 5th density, 6th density, and dumped them down here. Yeah, and since they've been dumped down here, they've used this like a bully yard, like a yard where they just bully everybody who's down here. They want to stop you from escaping from this light prison, because the 3rd density or the 3rd dimension, that's all it is. It's a light matrix where light is trapped. So even when you're talking about angels, you rearrange the letters, it's the same word as angles of light that are coming into this reality or coming into this world. So the Anunnaki at their highest vibration are not even flesh and blood beings. They return to light beings, or what you call etherians. So it would just be like a silhouette. You won't even see no facial features and stuff like that. It would just be like light in the form of a man, because it's an energy being. That's what you call it, etherian. And when the vibration slows down and they come out in solid form as what we would call an Anunnaki or a Neteru or an Elohim if we're going by biblical text, or Alihat, Allahumma if we're going by the Quran. All of these things are talking about the same things. The same with Greece, when it tells you about Zeus and Apollo and Jupiter and Artemis and all of these gods, yeah, in the Greco-Roman thing, because Rome just stole Greece's stuff anyway. It's the same thing, yeah? So that's the same when they're telling you about Olympians and Titans, or red bloods and blue bloods. And it's the same when you go to Nordic with Thor and Odin and Loki and all of them. You got one side fighting the other side, or red bloods and blue bloods. The same with our politics, red bloods and blue bloods. And then, like I said, how they had a truce and have to work together for the betterment of everything. It's the same with politics, when people be telling you, yo, the bird, both wings belong to the same bird. Ultimately, at the top, they have to work together. Otherwise, the whole shit falls apart. Okay? So the only thing, the Anunnaki, they have bigger eyes than us because they can see in different densities. They can see in darkness that we can't see in, okay? And different types of light. You want to say hello to Goliath? I think he wants to come and be in my video. Goliath, what's going on? I ain't got no food here for you. Yeah? You're going to have to find your own food. Yeah? What's up with you? You want to say hello? Goliath wants to say hello, guys. I'm on the farm, yeah? The Horse Academy. Goliath is walking around here. I ain't got no food for you, man. Get out of my life, bro. Get your nose out of my life, man. I ain't got no food for you, boy. Get out. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There's different types of Anunnaki. So you've got the Galactic Federation, which is 23 species of aliens, yeah? And all of them contributed chromosomes from their genetic makeup. So each one of them 23 groups, we are compatible with them as humans. So when you go to Genesis 6, verses 1 to 7, it tells you about in those days there were giants on the earth, and the sons of God, or Benna Elohim, came down unto the daughters of man and found them attractive or fair or beautiful, and they went into them, meaning they had sex with them, because if they had sex with them, they had to be compatible. You can't have children with someone you're not compatible with, or with a species you're not compatible with. So what I'm saying, when you go back to the first Adama and second Adama project, both times Enki was using the DNA of Anunnaki in the project. The first one was Geshtu, who was the sacrifice, and they used his shiru, which means his essence, his blood. All of that stuff was used, and they mixed it in a purifying bath according to the tablet. Ninti said, yo, mix that in a purifying bath so it becomes one being. So they merged the spirit of the Anunnaki, or the intelligence, the genetics of the Anunnaki, with this primate, which is Homo erectus. And they merged it together. And this was done through trial and error. It wasn't done by some god clicking his finger and puff the magic dragon, some being just appeared. Do you understand what I'm saying? It happened through a process. It actually took 49,000 years. That's like a blink of an eye for an Anunnaki. For us, it's 49,000 years. But that's how long it took. And we're talking 300,000 years ago for this last age of man. Because this ain't the first time humans have been on the planet with high technology. Like one of my videos you see with the Great War of Tartaria, and there's people in the comments saying, oh, we didn't have cameras back then, and mocking the thing. Because they don't understand, none of that shit's new. Cameras ain't new, technology's not new, computers are not new. When you read the Sumerian tablets and it's telling you about Enki had the Mies, change that Mies to Enki had the technology. He had the technology, the laptops, the tablets, the computers, the whole shit. When they're telling you about ancient tablets, they're not always talking about some stone tablet. Sometimes they're talking about the same iPad tablet you've got. When Enki and them are punching buttons and launching missiles on spots and shit, that's the technology we've got today. Where do you think we got it from? It's not the first time it's been on Earth. And this age of man, if we talk about history, 6,000 years, start from 4,000 BC, this is not the first age of man. There's been numerous ages of man before this one that reached way further than where we are now, and that used to be made bigger. Everything was bigger because there was super oxygen here. We had super massive trees, we had massive humans, we had massive insects, we had massive plants, we had massive vegetables, fruits, the whole shit was massive. It weren't shrunk down like how everything's so shrunk now. So we had various different ages of man. And when you go through the archaeological records, there's evidence, tangible evidence to support what I'm saying. There's not much evidence to support the conventional timeline of history that we've been given through school. They have to force fit that shit to make it fit. It don't work. No, we never started in the cave as no caveman scratching our head and that with some animal loincloth and a club. Certain people started like that, but that's not how humans started on Earth. Humans were seeded here and taught. The gods used to live and walk among us and teach us when we was in our infancy. And that's what my books are getting at, like Treasures in the Sand. We'll take you through that and show you the receipts for it. Yeah? So Anunnaki is not necessarily, that's vague if you just use the word Anunnaki. That's like saying, oh, that human. It's not really saying much about that human. You have to break it down more than the word Anunnaki. What type of Anunnaki is it? Is he a seraphim? Is he a cherubim? Is he a Pleiadian? Is he a Orion? Is he an Alpha Draconian? Is he a Vulcan? Because also people don't get that Anunnakis are humans, humanoid, and a pointy chin and shit. They even show you this stuff in Star Trek with the Vulcans and stuff. Obviously, all the Vulcans are not black in Star Trek because it's Hollywood. But it's for real, like Mother Hubbard and them. They're the ones that created these lizard reptilians by mixing the bird beings with the little 4-foot beings that was on the planet next door to this one. There was a world or planet, whichever one you want to take, next to this one called Maldek or Vulcan, and it got destroyed and it became known as the lost planet Maldek. That's originally where the reptilians came from, and the first ones were like little frogmen. So they were only 4 foot tall, but they were really nasty little bastards. Yeah, Mother Hubbard and them mixed them with the bird beings to get what you call reptilian today, with the wings and the massive, the lizard beings. That they bred them from them little frogmen, them Maldekians. You understand what I'm saying? And because their world was destroyed, that's why these reptilians have a vendetta against humans, because they feel like, yo, these humanoid niggas destroyed our shit, and they trying to get a get back now. And also this earth, before man was seeded here, reptilians lived here. From the reptilians from next door Maldek, and reptilians that were already here. Some of them evoluted like man did, called Homo saurians. Not a lot of people know this. Yeah? So now the Anunnaki, having their war, they were divided on this project of man. Half of them was like, yo, we like this project with humans, it's really good. The next half was like, we don't like this project. These creatures, we don't trust them. It's just like us now, if we made clones. Imagine clones on Earth being announced. Okay, clones are real. It's on the news. Half of humanity is going to be like, nah, fuck that. Yeah, we don't want nothing to do with these clones. These clones are not human. They're clones. They're demonic. Yeah, everyone's not going to accept it. So now superimpose that on the Anunnaki. They've cloned. It's like us talking about cloning. They've cloned a being that looks like them, thinks like them. But to them, yo, this is a clone. This is not a real Anunnaki. Do you understand? So half of them was like, nah, we're not with this project. And they was like, yo, we need to sabotage this shit here. And how they sabotaged it, I'll give you the key before I go, and then we'll do a next part where I'll explain some more shit another time. But what they did, this Earth project was only supposed to have a certain type of genetics involved in the project. Yeah, when you read these tablets, it was only supposed to be benevolent spirit. That way we wouldn't have these vermin like alpha draconian reptilians and others coming here to use this planet as a food source, to be eating humans and human sacrifice. They wouldn't have been able to eat none of these people that were created if the plan would have went how it was supposed to go. But these cherubims and Leel and them, they said, yo, let's sabotage this shit and put in some fucked up DNA so the shit will go south. So then we'll be able to come here and yam their ass anyway. Do you understand what I'm saying? But we don't trust them. We think they're dangerous. Let's quarantine Earth, quarantine the planet. We don't even care if they think they're the only shit in existence, yeah? We don't want them to know about aliens or nothing, not yet. They ain't ready. Do you understand? But we're going to sabotage the project, and we're going to put in this recessive DNA from the Pleiadians and this evil spirit, and then it's going to fuck up the project. And then it happened again in Genesis 6, verses 1 to 7, when these Nephilim, from the word Nephala, meaning to fall down, and it don't necessarily just mean to fall down out the sky. It means to fall down in vibration. The vibration's dropping. It's slowing down. So their density's dropping. Now they're becoming flesh and blood, carnal creatures. They're coming down here indulging in lust, in sex and shit, and giving up their inheritance as an angel. And now they becoming a terrestrial fucking man with lineages and stuff. This is where you get all these Rothschilds and Rockefellers and bloodlines that chase back to these 200 fallen angels that descended on Mount Hermon. You understand what I'm saying? So they sabotage the project in order for it to get to where it is today. So now this is like a salvage project. It's like, yo, let's salvage what we can, because this shit, fuck this thing what we're calling Earth. You got pedophiles, serial killers, psychopaths, all of this madness going on because the shit went south. You understand? And so the evil took over. So that's why you're reading in the days of Noah, everyone was corrupt. There was only one man worthy of saving. One family, because his bloodline wasn't fucked. They wasn't mixing with all these fallen angels who started coming down here in the time of Jared. If you're not reading your Bible, I probably sound like I'm speaking gibberish. I mean, if you're not familiar with the stories from the Bible, yeah? Whether you believe them or not, if you're not familiar with them, then what I'm saying to you will probably just sound like French. You understand? But if you are familiar with the Bible, you'll be able to go back to these stories and see them with a new lens now. You understand? And a good reference to start from, if you want to get a reference, what's wrong with you? A good reference to start from, yeah, is Zachariah Sitchin, the 12th planet. Or even if you've already got that, go back to it. Zachariah Sitchin, the 12th planet. Start there. yeah? And then come with your questions, and I'll address what you're saying to me, yeah? These Anunnaki now on Nibiru, they're the ones who are returning to clean up this shit. So, okay, it's going to go south, but in the end we'll return, and by then humanity will have matured that much that there will be 144,000 at least, yeah, that will be able to, yo, you man are coming with us, yeah, fuck the rest of them, let's wipe this shit and put these 144,000 back in place and start this shit over again. We're going to have another Barashif, or what most people know as Genesis. The real name for Genesis is Barashif. Barashif means the replenishing, the reconstruction, meaning something was here before and they reconstructed that shit. That's why they didn't leave that title in Hebrew for you. They changed it. Yo, put Genesis, the beginning. But that don't mean the beginning. If you go to the phonetics of the word, it's telling you the genes of Isis. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll come back and we'll discuss this more further, yeah? I'm going to go through some of these questions, and then the next time, I'll go further. Nigga, I'm smoking weed. What do you mean? Smoking weed is normal. Fuck out of here. Before Nikola Tesla, listen, Mzungu people, white folk, they don't discover nothing because it was already discovered. They uncover what was already discovered. So Nikola Tesla with his Wardenclyffe Tower, yeah, he's just studying the pyramids, and he understood it where other people don't understood it. Most people like, what's his name, that Paul what? What's his Paul Wilkinson? The idiot abroad. Yo, what's that? He's staring at it. What is it? Is it a tomb? Nah, Nikola Tesla seen, yo, this is an energy plant. I can make free energy from this shit here. Yo, there's free energy, there's 0 point energy all in the air, in the water, in the earth. Yo, I can use this energy and I can light up the whole planet. So he never invented that technology. He discovered that we already had that technology long time ago, whether it's in the Indus Valley, whether it's in Kemet, whether it's in the Sudan, whether it's in the Yucatan, we already had that shit. Yeah, and there's various pictures going back before the 1800s. We're talking 1700s, 1600s, before electricity was supposed to have been invented and light bulbs were supposed to be invented, where the whole city's lit up, nighttime. I've got some of them videos on my Instagram page, mate. You understand? So no, cameras, electricity, phones, they've even got tablets and phones that they found that is 500 million years old. They fossilized in the stone. We've got some of these receipts and pictures in our books, yeah? Some people like to come on here and comment when you haven't really done no homework. So I don't even address certain comments. I just scroll straight past it and laugh at it, how dumb this crop of humans is. And that's no insult to nobody. I'm just telling it how it is. You understand? So no, Nikola Tesla didn't invent anything. Who created the reptilians? This is Pyramid Black Pharaoh, Mother Hubbard, yeah? Who is the sister of Anshar. Anshar is the father of Anu. Go and buy yourself Zachariah Sitchin, The Lost Book of Enki. Once you read that, that will answer your question for you. Mother Hubbard, who was the top scientist of the previous Anu, yeah, because regardless of what you've been told, these guys don't live forever neither. To us it might seem like forever, but it's not forever. Just like an ant might think, bastard, them humans live forever. We only live 3 days. Them humans is living 90 years and shit. That shit's forever. It's the same with us when we think about them. So the previous Anu, the father of this Anu, his name was Anshar. And the chief scientist in his time was his own sister named Mother Hubbard. And when the insect war started, and they had to flee from Pegasus because these insects were taking over the whole shit, and they show you this shit in the Alien movies. What do you think it's about? That's an insectoid being. So the Alien movies, and they keep showing you Alien 1, Alien 2, Alien 3. They even chuck in the Andromedans, the ant people. Predator, Predator 1, Predator 2, Predator 3, yeah, Predators. And then they bash them together. Alien versus Predator. They keep telling you the fucking story that your ancestors wrote down for you. But we stuck in English. We can't read it. And it tells you this sister of Anu, she felt like he weren't worthy of being the Most High because he couldn't defeat these insectoids. But he commissioned her to create a squad to fight these insectoids. She created the reptilians, the little frog people, and mixed her own DNA into it as to where you get who you calling Satan. Or the chief, you get Zuen or Enzu. yeah, on the Sumerian tablets. And then you get Nakash, yeah, who we call in Satan or Lucifer, which is his son, half reptilian, half Riskian Anunnaki. So he's like half. He's one of the most unpredictable motherfuckers on the whole planet. So that's where you get your reptilians from. What else we got? Yeah, respect. You know what it is? I know what I speak and I speak what I know. I leave the rest, bro. That's that Paulo Afello. That's like Paulo Coelho. I like that name. Big love for the knowledge, yeah. Paulo Afello. Yo, respect, man. Yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna take a time out. Like I said, I'm celebrating with the family, so I'm sorry I didn't come with my notes and stuff. Next time I'll come with my bullet points and stuff, and I'll do a bit of a better job, yeah. But I got birthday vibes going on. Big boxing fight, and my brother's all over the place. So I'll leave it at that for now. I'm gonna thank all of you guys for tuning in. Like, share, hate, subscribe, whatever. Peace to the gods and the earth, yeah. Namaste.